Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video about the Jinn today, and people who are already hip to things are gonna know about this stuff already. So this is really just more for the layman, people who maybe aren't as familiar, or just curious. And the reason I'm making this video is because, somebody said something to me the other day. They were just like, "I believe demons are real," and the thing is, right? In Judeo-Christian terminology, there's just angels and demons, right? Like that's it, right? And people don't understand why that's problematic, or even how problematic that is most of the time. So I'm going to do my best to explain that. The problem is, right, I brought up Jinn to one of these people, and then they immediately, typically when you bring up Jinn to somebody who is familiar with just this angel demon terminology, they say, "Oh yeah, demons." In fact, they even said, "Oh yeah, reptilian demons." The thing about Jinn is a umbrella term, and it basically covers really all sentient life that's not humans, and they are at present unseen. So the thing is, when you say demon, demon implies evil, right? Pretty much all the time. Except, I guess, if, like the only example I can think of that not being the case is like literally like the show Inuyasha, where they're like, "Oh, there's evil demons and there's good demons," which I find that show interesting because it basically is implying that even, according to them, it's like, oh, just even back in the feudal era of Japan, humans and Jinn were coexisting. Wow, that's a crazy looking plane. And when you say angels, angels, we typically put that with the word malaika in the Quranic discourse. But the thing is like angels are like super, they're sovereign beings that are like incredibly powerful. And in other words, like one malaika could, destroy the entire world. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because many of us are familiar with the idea of a guardian angel, right? But think about it. What if there's only a handful of angels, of malaika, right? There's only like maybe like not that many of them at all right now. Would it make sense that and I'm not saying it couldn't be. I'm not saying that as sovereign as these beings are, like one of them couldn't be in charge of, a million people. But the thing about the Jinn is, right, the Jinn are, the majority of Jinn, according to the Quran, are believers. Actually, that's why it's problematic to just say, "Oh, demons." Well, the majority of them are believers, right? And the majority of them are female. What the picture that the Quran paints for us is that the minority of them, which are rebellious, those are called the shayateen, and those are primarily males. With the Jinn, right? It's like the believing Jinn remain hidden. Their likeness is like a niqabi, like literally, like they're like those women that are covered up in Islamic countries, which is very strange that they would train humans to pretend to be Jinn, if you think about it like that. But if you're watching a play, like a Japanese play especially, and there's those guys that are running around and they're completely covered, and they're picking up the things and they're moving it around, that's the likeness of a believing Jinn. They are moving stuff around, but you're not really supposed to be paying attention to them because they're just kind of they're driving the story, right? They're not really, you're not supposed to be paying much attention to them, but they have to be there to, pick things up and move it, or wave the thingies or whatever, right? Like that is the likeness of a believing Jinn, right? The thing is, right, I find it very interesting that these fucking people, that in the Quran there's this there's this theme of people worshiping the jinn, and those same jinn impersonating gods or impersonating angels, right? Like Iblis, which again, the Christian thingy is very problematic because they call Iblis an angel. Basically, in the Christian terminology, right, jinn are either demons or angels. They probably are never really talking about malaika when they say angels. So the thing is, right, people say guardian angels. Well, I pose the idea, what if guardian angels are basically just believing jinn? It makes sense. I mean, there's so many things that happen all the time to me that are like very strange, where it's just like you're looking for something, and then you find it in a sort of miraculous, not miraculous way, but or you run into people you're just thinking about. The way I see it, jinn actually are they're completely necessary for the function of reality. And again, believing jinn their job is actually to support believing humans. And as far as we know, the opposite is true for us. Like, we believing humans could be supporting them in a way we don't understand, because the jinn are all about energy. They're basically, okay, right, when it says in the Quran that they're made from Marijin min nar, they have translated that as smokeless fire. And perhaps that's not entirely inaccurate, but if you look at the word Marijin, it's actually, for one thing, it's related to coral, but it actually appears to be where the word to merge comes from, or marriage. So you could say also that word is more accurately translated as merging fire. Fire merged upon itself. Plasma. So I would say that the most accurate way to describe them is a plasma. But the thing is, right, the jinn, people are like, oh, reptilians. The thing about the jinn is there's more types of jinn than there are like types of animals. There's only like 3 types of humans, right? Giants, Thamud, normal people like our size, normal people, a middle nation, Beni Israel, and like dwarves, which would be like Ad, right? So there are like lots of types of jinn. There's bird jinn, bee jinn, snake jinn, lizard jinn. Dragons are probably a type of jinn. Squid jinn. There's jinn that look like people. There's and then even among those, there's like blue ones, purple ones, red ones, black ones, green ones. These depictions are all over the place, and that's one reason that Hinduism is like a little bit sus, because they're like worshiping these blue shape-shifting things. The jinn are often characterized by an ability to change forms, but they do have an original form. Anyway, that could be its own video. The main thing I wanted to cover in this video is just the idea that like jinn are not simply demons, and they're definitely, I don't think they should be called angels at all, unless you're going to abandon the idea that malaika is an angel and you're going to call that something else in your English terminology. I think that that's just problematic, so I wouldn't use that terminology. But again, there is no terminology for jinn in Judeo-Christian narrative. They just don't have that. They either call them angels or demons. So in the interest of clarifying things, and this has been talked about before, but just for my channel to put, and I've probably talked about this already on my channel, but I'm just doing an updated video. Okay, so the gist of the video is that jinn are not simply demons. Among the jinn, among this much of the jinn, there's like this much of them that are rebellious, and we call those the shayateen of the jinn. There's also shayateen of the ins, of humans. And by the way, those guys, they work together. The rebellious Jinn and rebellious humans, they're with each other. That's a lot of what's going on in the world right now. People call the Illuminati or whatever, so that's its own thing. But the thing about the Jinn is really the majority of them are believing feminine, and they really are not. They're supposed to be hidden. Their role is to be hidden. That's why they're called Jinn. Jinn means something that's hidden. It's the same root as Jannah. So that's the majority of the video that I wanted to cover, and you're not. What does it say? The shayateen of the Jinn have no power over believing people, so we're not to fear them. We're not to just fear Jinn as a species. And here's another thing, right? Let's just say when the messenger returns, there's a chance that he could be accompanied by Jinn, actually. And the majority of Jinn maybe they're like insects or something. The thing about this whole alien thing, it has pretty much everything to do with Jinn. We'll throw this in here at the end here. Let's just imagine for a second that the criminals among the Jinn are white-haired and blue-eyed, like these Pleiadians. And what if the believing Jinn are actually the ones that look fucking scary, like mantises and fucking whatever? We don't know. Allah knows best, for real. But main thing is just I highly encourage everybody, like, do not fall into this reductive model of just angels and demons. That's just ridiculous. Jinn in a way it's like simpler than that, because it's like Jinn is it's an umbrella term, and it covers all these things. You could easily just say spirits. Jinn is analogous to the word spirits. Okay? By the way, I don't believe in ghosts, because the idea of a ghost is a dead person that's still stuck. I don't believe in that. I think when you see the appearance of a person who's all smoky and stuff, that's a qarin. That's that person's qarin left behind. Because the qarins are dealt with at the end of time, and their whole job is to look like you. So something to think about, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Salam.